What's up? Welcome to the Gooner channel, a channel 100% dedicated to the Arsenal, who, as we all know, are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. Although, you know what, for a lot of us tonight, it doesn't really feel like it. The nerves are starting to kick in. Sunderland 2, Arsenal 2, and there can't have been many of us who at the start of the season looked at this fixture who weren't fairly confident we would get a win up there. After all, newly promoted side, no one really up front. Where are their goals going to come from? And when you think about that in the context of our season so far, having conceded only 3 goals across 10 games, you kind of felt like all we'd really need to do is get 1, maybe 2 goals and it would be out of sight for them. But that's not the whole picture, and it never is. The other way of looking at it, of course, is to say that going into this match, it was top of the table against 5th. And Sunderland haven't yet been beaten at the Stadium of Light. For me, it's not quite as disappointing as it's going to be for some of you, and I'm going to try and explain why. And forgive me, because I think part of it comes down to an age thing. I think that for a lot of people who are 30 and younger, the memory of 2004 is just too long ago. Now, I'm old enough, as if you couldn't tell, to have remembered 5 Premier League titles. I was 16 when we won it in '89, and I can tell you that Arsenal fans were convinced that we weren't going to do it by the last game of the season when we had to go to Anfield, of all places, and win by 2 goals. The nerves in that season were just chaos. But 91, which this season really reminds me of, was a lot calmer, but there are just twists and turns in every league. It's easy to look back at leagues you've won and think, oh, it's fairly processional. 91 was fairly processional to the title, but it doesn't mean there's not drama on the way. And looking at this game in isolation, separate from whether it's a title race or not, look, it was the 3rd away game of the week. After going to Burnley and away to Prague, we went to Sunderland. I have to say, I think our confidence as a fan base going into this game, I was fairly confident. In the Adams Arms, we did a poll. I don't think anyone had anything but a fairly comfortable win for Arsenal down. So on that level, all of us are going to be somewhat disappointed as well. And, of course, I understand it's disappointing because with Liverpool, Man City playing against each other tomorrow, the chance to really stretch a lead was there. But like I said, I'm not as disappointed as I think some people are going to be because I look at it in the context of other title races. And what I'm going to do in a little while is I'm going to look at how this game week 11 compares to the game week 11 of all the seasons we won it, and think just have a look at what and just place it in some sort of context. But the game itself, 5:30 Saturday kickoff gives you plenty of time to sort of start developing a few nerves. As soon as the game kicked off, though, you realised that they were going to basically do an Arsenal, what we're accused of all the time: physical, set pieces. Marino goes down with an elbow. I don't know if it's intentional or not. I mean, when Marino went down, I suddenly thought, oh no, if he has to come off. Look, it's not just that this is our 3rd away game of the week. It's also the international break. You've got a real feeling that there's a lot of players out there. And look, hear me out. I have a theory on this because I think the times we've played worst in the last couple of seasons when there's been no one on the bench and the players out on the pitch know that they're in for a 90-minute slog. I think it really helps to be able to look at the bench and think, if I do throw everything at it for the first 70 minutes, at least there's someone who can come on. When Marino was down injured and it looked like it might be a concussion injury and they might have to take him off, I mean, who do you bring on? The only one you can really bring on is you might move Wanyeri to the right side, Saka to the left side, play Trossard through the middle. I don't know how effective that would have been against a really combative and determined Sunderland. And I think they did exactly what you need to do if you're a team in their position. They played with pride. The fans were up for it. It was a cup final to them. And when they got the goal, I mean, Ballard's touch and finish on that goal near post past Raya, like, you can't really blame Raya, but on another day he might stop it. I thought it's really difficult because a lot of what Raya did really well, the triple save that would have been offside anyway, doesn't count. But ultimately, look, first 30 minutes, it had become clear that they were going to outmuscle us, and we just looked tired. Weren't moving the ball as quickly as we needed to. weren't keeping hold of the ball as we often do, and our chances weren't quite what they needed to be. And I think going in 1-0 down in the first half, I might have bitten your hand off to take a draw out of that game. I really didn't know how to feel about it, but I just felt like, please, let's not lose it. Because losing sets you back and it makes people ask questions. And we've got a jittery fan base. And I understand that. Listen, last 3 years, coming as close as we have, there's going to be a lot of people out there doing videos similar to this one talking about, this is why I don't trust the process. You know, they always let us down with bottling it again. And of course, you're allowed your own opinions. I don't see it that way. But coming out in the second half was a different affair. And I thought Marino's layoff for Saka's goal, winning the ball high at the pitch, Declan Rice was throwing himself around. That was a really nicely taken finish by Bukayo Saka. Goal from open play, back in it, and then we really put the pressure on. And Trossard's goal is a thing of beauty. I'd been kind of watching Trossard thinking, I couldn't decide if I was enjoying watching him or not because there wasn't really end product coming out of it, but he looked, I was thinking, would you really drop him for Semenyo? Today, I thought he really took the game to Sunderland and his goal was absolutely brilliant. At that point, I thought if the game continues like this, we've won it. What a turnaround it's been. Another time going to the northeast. It is a long way to go. In that cauldron, that atmosphere that those fans can create, and to come away with 3 points would have been a magnificent achievement. And then it kind of felt like the bad performances that we've had in the last couple of seasons where we're trying to hold on to something instead of taking a game to them. I am thinking of games that were really irritating, like Brighton and Man City last season. Well, 10 men, so we had to play a bit more defensively. But there were no out balls. I thought Eze was disappointing in that Odegaard role. There were a few disappointing players today, let's be honest. Marino, despite a brilliant layoff for Saka's goal, was too deep. We were trying to win a midfield battle. They congested the midfield battle brilliantly. Tactically, I thought we just looked jaded. But to concede the way we did in the 94th minute, it's just disappointing. It is just disappointing. It looked a little bit like we were holding on too much. When he did take Eze off and brought Mosquera on, it didn't really make a lot of sense. There must have been other things we could do. But, you look at it, you come away from that game with the disappointment of the draw. But, like I said, I think most of the most disappointed people are going to be people who don't remember leagues. And this isn't me trying to be patronising, but it is true that this is how leagues are won. So I want to go back through 1989. In game week 11, we had 23 points. We went on to win on the last day of the season. In 1991, which was really processional, we won the league with games to spare. As I said, lost one game, conceded only 18 goals. By game week 11, we were on 27 points, so 1 point better off than we are now. In 98, there were wobbles aplenty. December proved a really difficult month, but at game week 11, we were on 23 points, so 3 points behind where we are now. In 2002, we only had 19 points at game week 11, so 7 points worse off than we are now. And in 2004, the invincible season, which we won in April with 5 games to go, we had at game week 11, 27 points. So only 1 point better. So if you stack game week 11, and I know it's a disappointing draw, and I know we all wanted to really ram home 3 points and put pressure on City and Liverpool, but there are many twists and turns in the league. And I think if you set unreasonable expectations that Arsenal are going to win every single game all the time, if you won't tolerate excuses like 6 forwards not being available for this match, if you don't want to hear that this is a third away game in a week with the international break coming up, some tired legs out there, tired minds, and you know what? There were some players out there that didn't play at their best, that were not quite as good as we expect them to be. It's going to come down to how we respond. In 2002, we actually lost 4-2 to Charlton at home on game week 11. But then the game after that was Spurs and we beat them 2-1. I want us to go into this international break and take a deep breath. We are far better off than I expected us to be at this point in the season, having played some very tricky fixtures. We are out ahead. We don't know what's going to happen in the Liverpool City game tomorrow, but one or both of those teams will drop points. So this is not a disaster. And I honestly think there will be more than... I think Liverpool and Man City have to go to the Stadium of Light, and they're not going to walk that either. This is not an easy Sunderland to play. I think they fought for everything. And you know what? Finally, I just want to say with everyone worried that it was going to be an ex-Arsenal screamer who broke our hearts today, obviously Granit Xhaka, and then it turns out that one did, the academy graduate Ballard. I just want to say well done, man. It's going to be a day that you remember for the rest of your life. I still believe that we will not look back on today like we were able to look back in the past 3 seasons at days like today and think this is where it went wrong. There is a lot of this season left to go. 27 games left to play. We are currently in the box seat. We are out ahead. We are the team to catch, and we didn't lose today. So let's watch. So let's stay positive. Let's stay upbeat. Let me know in the comments how you feel. You are allowed to feel hugely disappointed. If you are 32 or younger and you want to tell me I'm completely wrong and that leagues, you have to win every game, tell me. But let's be honest. My experience is that I think the only league that felt really like there wasn't any scary moments was 2004. And even in that, in game week 10 of 2004, we played Charlton away and drew 1-1. And they weren't good then, just in case you were thinking maybe they were top 5. They weren't. But there are results in every season that just aren't very good. Tonight, I think we battled. We came away with something. It wasn't... we came away with something. It's going to be disappointing because of the late equaliser. But I'm proud of the team. I think there's some of them that have a lot... I'm proud of the team. I don't think they all played at their best. But hopefully... we'll make up for it against Spurs in 2 weeks' time. Let's hope we take this all out on a hapless Tottenham who themselves were victims to a late equaliser in the early kick-off today. And good game, that one. And let's see what happens between City and Liverpool. It's intriguing. I can't call it. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. And let me also know how you feel about this. And if I don't see you before, we, of course, have a live stream tomorrow night at the Adams Arms, 10:30. I hope to see you all there. Until then, be lucky. Lots of love.